Why is it that after you fix one injury, you seem to injure something else? It's not fair, is it? I mean, you're going to the gym, you've committed to your fitness, and your reward is this injury cycle? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. So let's talk about what you can do to fix that constant injured body. We have an aging population, and when you combine that with the sedentary lifestyle that most people are living, it means that as we age, our bodies are just becoming weaker and deconditioned. Compare this to life before the Industrial Revolution, which really wasn't that long ago. The average person was doing physical work, which means that when they became an adult, they continued the same kind of physical lifestyle that they had when they were a child. We've had a very sharp change from working with our bodies to all of a sudden being able to go through our whole lives without doing any real physical work. I'm 46 years old, so I'm Generation X. When we were kids, we played a lot. Physical activity wasn't a problem. But then coming towards the end of high school and coming out of high school, the play for a lot of people stops. And then moving into the workforce, the majority of people that I was surrounded by didn't really do any physical activity. Now, most people can get through their 20s without this being a really big problem. But once they get into their 30s and they decide that they want to start exercising again, usually because people start putting on weight, they start seeing the decline in their body and they think, wow, I've got to do something about this. But the problem is that what you see in the mirror is really just on the surface. There's a lot of problems that are going on within our bodies that we can't see. And this is where the injuries come into play. Because if you haven't been consistently exercising and consistently putting your body under strain, like the kind of strain that you do if you go to the gym or if you're doing a boot camp or something like that, if you haven't been doing that through your life, then your body has become deconditioned to that kind of work. So then when all of a sudden you decide in your 30s or 40s that you want to go to the gym and start exercising, this is where the injury cycle starts for most people. And the purpose of this video is that I work with a lot of people online and I've been a personal trainer for over 20 years now. And it's a common thread that the older somebody is when they start going to the gym, the more injuries they seem to experience as they try to push themselves to new levels of strength and flexibility that they've never had before. And I'm no exception with this. In my 20s, I was highly committed to Kung Fu training. I used to train anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week, and I got pretty good at it. And then at age 30, I joined the army as an infantry soldier, so there was a lot of physical work there. And then when I got out of the army and came back to being a personal trainer at age 34, I started pursuing calisthenics training. Now, I'd never done upper body strength training before, not like this anyway. The Kung Fu training that I did had very little upper body strength training, and contrary to what a lot of people might believe, in the army, we didn't do good strength training for the upper body either. So all of a sudden, I was asking my body to do something that it had never really done before. And my body basically started to systematically break down. So I was following the basic calisthenics path. I was trying to learn how to do handstands and press to handstands and muscle ups and planches and all the skills that you see online. The first injury I got was a wrist sprain. I couldn't put any weight on my hands for almost a year. Then I got golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, couldn't do any pulling exercises for almost a year. And then things got really bad. I got a slap tear in my right shoulder. I rehabilitated that. 14 months later, I had a slap tear in my left shoulder. And that's when I had a real wake-up call. It was just so obvious that my body wasn't capable of doing the things that I was trying to get it to do. I'd basically gone through each joint, my wrists, my elbows, and then my shoulders, one after the other, and they were breaking down. And that's because the kinetic chain, which is those 3 joints that are involved in upper body pushing and pulling, they just weren't prepared for the calisthenics work that I was trying to do. Now for me, I was at a juncture in my life. I could either accept that my best years were behind me and I was never going to be able to do the things that I wanted to be able to do, or I could own my shit, rise to the challenge, and do what was required to get my body to where I wanted it to go. Now, being a personal trainer, a fitness professional, didn't seem like it was a wise move to just give up and accept that my best years were behind me. So I owned my shit and I spent the next 10 years up until now really rebuilding my body from the ground up. And because of how many people that I work with and that ask questions on our YouTube channel seem to be going through the same thing, I thought that I could share a video with you guys of what worked for me and what's worked for many other people that I've worked with before. So the first critical step that I made was to make the decision as to whether I was willing to do the work to make my body thrive or whether I wasn't, because it is work. There's no way around it. There's no magic secret formula that cuts out the work that you have to do. And I think this is one of the biggest problems. We've just become lazy and deconditioned as a species. We always look for the quick fix rather than doing the work that's going to get us to where we want to go. And next, and this is probably one of the hardest things, and that is you've got to own your shit. For me, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol when I was in my 20s and even in my early 30s. And I had to own that. I had to look at the decisions that I was making, at the habits that I had, the addictions that I had that were causing my body to not thrive. And I think this is where so many people go wrong, is they don't own their shit. They don't look at what they're doing that's preventing their body from thriving. There's no amount of exercise, there's no amount of strength training and flexibility training that's going to undo drug and alcohol abuse, that's going to undo or outdo a bad diet, that's going to compensate for a poor circadian rhythm. And so at this point, I had to look at, I was still prioritizing playing video games or watching Netflix until late at night, which meant that my circadian rhythm was really out of whack. I was still having a beer or two as I was sitting down watching Netflix or playing video games, just doing all this shit that I used to do when I was younger that was really hard for me to give up and let go of, but that was not allowing my body to recover and repair from the work that I was doing at the gym. And that's a really important thing to understand, because when you go to the gym, when you do any kind of exercise, you're basically giving your body a stimulus to adapt to. But the catalyst for the adaptation, what causes you to become stronger, to lose fat, to get fitter, to increase your flexibility, that all happens during recovery. So if you're not prioritizing recovery, then you are going to stay in this injury cycle. I cannot emphasize this enough. You really need to look at the way that your body is recovering and what your recovery plan is. And at the most grassroots level, you need to eliminate alcohol. You need to eliminate junk food. You need to be consuming a high protein diet. You need to be eating a whole food diet. You want to be getting sun exposure daily. And right at the top of all of this is a good circadian rhythm. If you're not going to bed at a very similar time every night, that is roughly dictated by when the sun goes up and goes down, then you're going to really struggle to get out of this injury cycle. So for me now, I go to bed most nights at about 8:30, 9 o'clock is a late bedtime for me, and I wake up naturally without an alarm, usually when the birds start chirping, so just before the sun rises. Now, if that seems wild to you, if that seems foreign because you go to bed at 11 or 12 or 1 or 2, then that is really something that you want to look at. And if you want to break this injury cycle and you're not going to prioritize good sleep, it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to do so. The next is to create a habit of exercise. People go into exercise with this all or nothing mentality versus some is better than none, because doing some exercise daily is going to be so much more beneficial for you long term than going into every workout session thinking that you have to go hard or go home, and then you hurt yourself or you feel like you need to recover for a day or two and your exercise becomes this sporadic thing. It's going to be much more beneficial for you if you can create a daily habit of exercise, and it could be as little as doing a 20-minute mobility session and a little bit of a walk, or a small gym session where you just go to the gym for 30 or 40 minutes each day. Because once you build the habit is the grassroots, the most important thing, and you can build on a habit. But if exercise is this thing where it comes and goes depending on how busy you are and how hectic your life is or how you feel, then it's always going to be something that has these results like this rather than a predictable result. And of course, the counter that I hear to that all the time, and that probably any personal trainer or fitness professional hears, is that I don't have the time for it. And this really comes down to owning your shit, because every single person has the same 24 hours, and it's up to you to decide what you do with that time. And if you can't prioritize a small burst of fitness each day, then of course you're going to struggle to live in the body that you want to live in. And the way that adaptation occurs, the way that we grow muscle, the way that our tissues become stronger, the way that we become a more resilient, less injury-prone person, is through consistent and frequent exercise. That's what our bodies adapt to. What I've found is that it's often less about what you're willing to do to make this change in your body and more about what you're willing to give up. What can you give up in your life to create the time to be able to go to bed earlier, rise earlier, and get your exercise done? In my own personal journey, one of the hardest things for me was to give up playing video games. I've always been a gamer and I love it. I really enjoy playing video games. But the older I got, I'm married now, I've got a wife, I've got a 7-year-old son, I run a business. The more and more I had to take a very real look at my life and just accept that if I was wanting to dedicate time to still playing video games, then all these other areas of my life were going to suffer. So I had to cut it out. For me, I don't play video games anymore. That doesn't mean I don't do it ever. I still enjoy playing a game here and there with some friends, but I'm not a gamer anymore. I don't play video games weekly. It's not something that I, have in my week on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Now we need to talk about why is it that once you fix an injury, you just seem to be getting another injury coming just around the corner. And it's because your body isn't conditioned for what it is that you're doing. And if you get injured doing a workout or doing physical activity, it's basically that you were doing something that you weren't prepared for. So if we talk about workouts in the gym, most people are pushing too hard too soon and not understanding how to use progressive overload. And this is a really, really big topic. If you're trying to do something that you've never been able to do before, I highly recommend that you work with a coach. I was trying to learn calisthenics, something I'd never done before, without working with a coach. And I got injury after injury after injury. Eventually I started working with a coach. I started working with a guy named Roy Goldschmidt, but known as Roy Gold on social media. And I basically chose somebody that I could learn from, that could teach me how to do these things that I'd never done before. And it's some of the best money that I've ever spent. Working with a coach that can teach you how to move, that can teach you how to own your body, is one of the best investments that you'll ever make. It reinforces the belief that what you're doing is the right thing to do. When I've seen people that aren't working with a coach, you always have this concern that what you're doing isn't the right thing, and you're always looking for the next thing. And getting your body to a state where you're not getting injured all the time is more about just building raw strength and raw muscle and learning the minor tweaks that you can do with exercises. Like, for example, if you get wrist pain or if you get golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, just by simply changing your grip position or changing the volume in your workouts or the intensity can mean that you can keep working out in spite of your injuries or your pain, and you can keep getting stronger. But when you don't have that guidance, in my experience, if I didn't feel like I was getting better, I just tried harder, and that meant my injuries just got worse. And if you want to get started, I've got some really good guides. I've got a strength and flexibility blueprint that you can get if you just click or tap the screen there, and that's a good way that you can get started with what's worked for me and all the people I work with around the world. I've also found that people try to chase skills far too soon, especially when it comes to calisthenics. I know that I did. You really want to be very strong, have a good amount of muscle, a good percentage of body fat, meaning a low percentage of body fat, and basically be injury free before you start chasing the skills that probably motivated you to get started in the first place. Now that could even be as simple as if you want to play basketball and you haven't played for 20 years and you played when you were younger, you want to develop running capability, jumping capability. You want to develop some lean muscle mass and some raw strength before you just go straight out and start playing basketball in a team again. Because if you don't build this foundational strength, flexibility, and fitness that we need for pretty much any activity that we want to do, you're just creating the environment for more and more injuries to happen. Next is chronic inflammation. People don't understand how much chronic inflammation contributes to this injury cycle. So when I mention chronic inflammation to a lot of people, it's something that they haven't even heard of before. So we have acute inflammation and chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation is something that would happen, say, from an injury, like if you sprain your ankle and the ankle gets inflamed. That's acute inflammation, and that's actually a good thing. That's the body's way of healing, and it's a response to injury that the body goes through. Chronic inflammation is different, and there's many causes and reasons for chronic inflammation, but it's something that happens over time from your body not being in a healthy state. And the main thing that I would challenge you to have a look at is go and Google and research what foods cause chronic inflammation. And the big ones are, alcohol is by far at the top of the list. If you're drinking alcohol regularly, your body's going to be in a constant state of chronic inflammation. But there's other things. There's refined sugar. For some people it's dairy, some people it's gluten. And if you just start to learn about what foods and what things that you're eating and consuming are contributing to chronic inflammation and what things can help reduce it. For me, because I don't drink alcohol much at all anymore, if I ever drink more than, say, 1 or 2 standard drinks, my old injuries, so my shoulders especially, where I had slap tears and torn rotator cuffs, for the several days after that, up to about a week, they'll all start hurting again. It just comes out of nowhere because that chronic inflammation comes up again after I've had alcohol. Now, this sounds like a lot, and it is. It's a lot. It's a big change for most people who aren't pursuing health, pursuing fitness, and trying to be the best version of themselves that they can be. So ask yourself, what do you want? What's the life that you want to live? Because for me, I want to be living a life where each month and each year I'm becoming healthier than I was a year ago. I'm becoming stronger and more flexible than I was a year ago. For me, that's really important. Maybe it's not so important for you. And if that's the case, then no problem, make your own decisions. But this video is for those of you who are really upset and really down because you're just on this injury cycle. Every time you seem to overcome one injury, another injury comes up for you. And the information that I've shared here can really change your life. So own your shit, decide what you want, reduce chronic inflammation, get into a healthy circadian rhythm, focus on building strength, muscle mass, and flexibility. Focus less on the more advanced skills, the things that the people that are inspiring you that are much better than you are doing. The time will come for you to be able to pursue those things, but if you're going through this injury cycle, now isn't that time. And I can tell you from my personal experience of my upper body, my wrists, elbows, and shoulders just systematically breaking down, it's been a process of years to get to where I am now. But at age 46, I'm strong, I'm flexible, I'm fit, and I'm capable of working out the way that I want to. And I really believe that you can be too.